Hey guys, it's Maris. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. In today's video, we are going to be talking about 4 independent horror books written by 4 independent horror authors. These authors answered a call that I put out about submitting their books for me to share in this specific series. So this is for them. There are many, many, many more to come, so I'm very excited about that. All of these books are independently published or self-published, and all of the links are down in the description box if you want to pick some of these up. But before we get into these really cool underground horror books, let's talk about something really cool that one of my patrons sent to me on my Discord. And I wanted to share with you because it's really, really cool. It's a website called Dracula Daily. And if you sign up with your email address, it will send you the chapters of Dracula on the day that corresponds with the chapters within the book. So each day you're gonna get a new chapter and you can read it as it real time plays out. I feel like this would be really good for me because, to be honest, reading Dracula was really hard for me. I had a really hard time getting into it, and I did find it kind of boring. It was a very long time ago when I tried to read it, and though I do love like film Dracula.
Count Dracula?
And I do love Dracula's Guest, if you've ever read that, which is also by Bram Stoker. It's so good, it's so beautiful, so moody, so atmospheric. I love it so much. So I definitely want to give Dracula a try and just see if I'm in a better headspace for it now. So I think it's almost over. I think the last of the chapters kind of end out in May. So I think I'm gonna try and remember to do this for next year because it sounds really awesome. And this was sent to me by Gravehopper. Thank you so much. It was so awesome. I truly loved it. If you're a patron, you can join me in Discord. We'll be doing chats every Sunday. So if you want to stop by and just talk about some books or whatever, come by. I'm gonna be there at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a couple hours, hanging out, just talking, whatever. It'll be really fun. So the first book that I'm going to share with you is called Dead Friends. It is by Miles Hooper. The artwork is super cool. I love this. It's already telling such a big story, like just in the artwork alone. It's really nice. And I think this is my favorite cover out of the 4 that we have today. But the story is pretty interesting. I like it, and it has a very special extra thing that I'll tell you about after I tell you what the book is about. So the tagline for this is that Dead Friends is a macabre psychological horror story for anyone who has survived or is currently living through their 20s. So this is about a group of friends who grew up together and were really close at a certain point, but once they graduate from college, they just sort of, they just lose touch. And that's like in 2007. So 6 years later, they decide to get back together and get a cabin in the northern woods of Arizona, just so they can, see what everyone's been up to and see how everything has turned out for each other. But as they are catching up and looking back at their 20s, they all come to this agreement that it really wasn't what it should have been. And the longer they spend together talking about this kind of discontent, something seems to become seething to the surface. There's something in effect here, some kind of force that's building contempt between them. So this is one of those stories, obviously, it's like friends go to a cabin for some reason, maybe it's a bachelor party, maybe it's getting to know each other again or something, but now they're isolated, now they're in the woods, they're by themselves. So this is definitely a popular trope, but it's one of those ones that I think a lot of us love, being in isolation and then having some kind of existential crisis and then, something spooky coming along, because this is definitely a paranormal story. My hope and expectations for this would be that the dialogue is really good, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of conversation between the characters about their lives, about their hopes, their dreams, whatever they feel like, life let them down and all that kind of stuff. So the thing I wanted to tell you about that I think is really cool is that apparently there's a lot of music referenced in the book. So the characters are listening to music, or maybe they're talking about lyrics or something. So the author decided to make a Spotify playlist. So if you want to listen to the songs that are being talked about in the book while reading the book, you can check that out. And I'll put that link down in the description box for you if you want to check that out. The next one is called Yokai Island. This is by Boris Bacic, or Bacic. I don't know. You'll have to let me know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. This is a cool one. This is another kind of isolated horror type situation. This is about an English teacher who is living in Japan, and he's teaching English. He is invited by his brother and his brother's girlfriend to go and explore this isolated island. The teacher agrees to do this pretty readily because he's just recently had a breakup and he just wants anything to take his mind off of his ex. So even though this place is rumored to be haunted, it's still better than thinking about his ex. And because this island has all of these whispers about it being haunted, it's a popular place. Everybody wants to go there and experience it for themselves and get a glimpse of the whistling woman who roams the island. They're able to hire a boat, they go out to the island, but before they know it, they're trapped. They're trapped on the island, they can't get off. The boat that they came on is long gone, and there's something in the shadows whistling, and that's really, really not a good sign. So this sounds so fun. I love this. If you've ever been anywhere where there's a river and you can see little tiny islands, that are sort of, maybe just all by themselves somewhere, in the river itself, I always am fascinated by it. I'm like, oh man, I would love to swim out there and just hang out there. Maybe there's something cool there. I did do it once and just found that it was just mosquitoes that were there. It was nothing good, but still it gets my imagination going. So that's really what I like about this. And I like that it's haunted. This sounds like it's going to have a lot of action, so I'm hoping that it's going to keep me, on my toes. And I'm also hoping that it feels atmospheric, it feels like being on an island. I definitely want to be able to feel that vibe because it's going to make it more scarier. Now this next one is probably my favorite, synopsis-wise out of the group, even though I think all of them sound pretty awesome. It's this one really kind of grabbed me, and it's called Mississippi Blue. It's written by Brittany Johnson, and this is a Gothic supernatural. The synopsis is written so well that I just want to read it to you because it has a bunch of little details that I think that you will appreciate hearing and maybe be intriguing. So let me read it instead of paraphrasing. Set in the fictional town of Orson, Mississippi, Mississippi Blue follows the investigation of Mary Lee Hastings, the 6-year-old daughter of upstanding citizen and preacher Mark Hastings, who disappears without a trace one hot summer night in June 1969. Detective Dubois and newly appointed Detective Carolina Watterson answer the call as the town's secrets start coming out, and decades of fear, hatred, racism, and violence are revealed. All the while, the Thing, an unspeakable beast not of this world, waits and watches. Enter Seth Barton, a man with a very special ability, an ability that lets him see a different side of Orson, a side he calls the Blue, only reachable by plunging himself into the deep waters of Mississippi. He finds an unlikely partner in Detective Watterson, and together they race to defeat the Thing and rescue Mary Lee before the town comes crumbling down around them. When I read this synopsis, I was like, man, it's really making me think of True Detective, season 1, and also Malcolm McDowell, his type of books that he was writing. So it sounds really good, I love this. I always love when there's a detective and then there's the occult or something supernatural happening. It's just so much fun. I wonder if the Thing, because they call it not of this world, is alien or something, maybe, who knows, but it is a Gothic supernatural, so it has to be something there, but I wonder what it is. In my form that I had for authors to submit stuff, I have a little optional box where they can tell me something cool about the book, could be anything. And the author shared that she wrote this on a 70-year-old typewriter. Especially too, since the story takes place in 1969. I like that kind of immersion type thing. And it's also like typing on a typewriter, you have to be so much more mindful, I think, of like your words. That I feel like maybe there's more thought that goes into it. Our last one is called Faces in Window. This is by Oliver Seneca. This is put out by Indie Sunbury Press. And the tagline for this is that every school has a secret. This is about two teachers who end up passing away, I guess at the same time, at this middle school called St. Stephen's Middle School. And they have replacements come, so these two younger, newer teachers arrive to take over the classrooms and resume, wherever they left off. And this is pretty exciting for the two new teachers. It's a new school, it's a new classroom, it's new kids. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Except things go wrong pretty fast because these two teachers start experiencing super weird stuff. They start having visions and having nightmares. But the most disturbing of all is that they keep seeing visions of their own deaths. Maybe like those two previous teachers. They become very desperate to understand what's happening. They are trying to dig into the school's past. They even like ensnare the old janitor to help them, because maybe he knows something because he's been there for so long. But will they be able to figure everything out in time? I love a haunted school. And I know that love comes from like movies like Lady in White. So I like this, and also, the mystery of like why the school is like this really piques my interest. My expectations for this one would be that it really goes for it, like it just really, really goes for it. Because I think I would like to see it be really messed up. And I don't know why I'm getting that desire for this from this specific book, but that's really what I want. So those were the 4 books. I hope that you found something interesting here. I know I definitely did. That Mississippi Blue book is just like, it's calling my name, I'm gonna get it. Let me know down in the comments if any of these sounded really interesting to you. If you've read them already, you know the drill. Let us know your thoughts. If you liked this video, please like and comment down below. And if you'd like to get more videos from me, please subscribe. Other than that, please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.